It's time for the next episode of The Leopards Are Feasting. And today we're just going to talk about this particular leopard, President Musk. So he is sitting up here calling Americans parasites while him and his companies are receiving millions of dollars a day in federal funds. Him, Trump, MAGA people are just so excited about slashing funds, firing people, and making sure that Americans suffer while he is certainly eating well. So we're going to talk about President Musk and how he is literally calling Americans parasites. Baller Alert put together this great set of pictures, so I'm just going to go ahead and use them. He called Americans parasites. Elon Musk post meme calling Americans parasites for using federal programs. Would that not make this man a parasite, considering his companies are getting interest-free loans, they're getting federal grants, they're getting sweetheart deals, and his companies are not paying taxes. But Americans that are just going to work, that might be poor, that might be on disability, children that need to go to Head Start, that need free lunches, they're parasites. That's what this man and MAGA and Trump are saying about Americans. And today, I'm a little bit more fired up than usual. This unelected South American man who has infiltrated our government reposted this meme saying, watching Trump slash federal programs, knowing it doesn't affect you because you're not a member of the parasite class. And this South American white man, said, why 90% of America loves Doge. Why is he even here? I'm old enough to remember a time when people just wanted to get rid of President Obama because he was supposedly born in Africa, even though he was born here in Hawaii. But they are perfectly fine with this South African white man sitting up here infiltrating our government and calling Americans parasites. Why is he even here? Elon Musk meme suggests that only the so-called parasite class benefits from federal programs, but in reality, millions of everyday Americans across all income levels rely on government programs, including ones Musk himself has benefited from. Here are just a few major federal programs that support American workers, families, and businesses. Like I said, Baller Alert put together this great set of pictures, so I am just going to go ahead and read them. Social Security and Medicare. Social Security provides retirement income for over 66 million Americans who have worked in this country. Medicare offers health care to over 65 million seniors and disabled individuals. Federal student loans and grants. Programs like Pell Grants and federal student loans help millions afford college, and then they can go off and work and probably become even more productive citizens of America, being born in America, paying American taxes, and not just getting millions of dollars in taxpayers' funds. Tax credits and subsidies. The child tax credit and earned income tax credit help working families. First-time homebuyer credits make home ownership more accessible, but they don't care about the working poor. They don't care about people who are just working to try to make ends meet, but there's just not enough money. Some people will never afford the American dream of owning a home. It's just unattainable right now. But you could get these credits, but these people are just saying it's the parasites. Federal infrastructure and disaster relief. Highways, bridges, public transit, and airports are funded by federal programs. FEMA provides relief after natural disasters. Healthcare and food assistance. Medicaid covers low-income families, pregnant women, and children. SNAP, food stamps, helps feed over 41 million Americans. Ironically, Musk-owned companies have benefited from billions in federal loans, contracts, and tax incentives, just like many industries and individuals across the country. Federal programs aren't just for a parasite class. They're the foundation that supports millions of hardworking Americans. And he's South African, and he's coming in here, infiltrating our government and talking crap about Americans. Multiple federal programs that the parasite Elon Musk has benefited from. Elon Musk and his companies, Tesla, SpaceX, Solar City, now part of Tesla, the Boring Company, and Neuralink have benefited from several U.S. federal programs, including grants, tax breaks, government contracts, and loans. Here are some examples. Government loans and bailouts. Tesla's $465 million loan back in 2009. The Department of Energy provided Tesla with a $465 million loan under the Advanced Technology Vehicles Manufacturing Loan Program. Tesla used this funding to develop the Model S and expand production. The company repaid the loan in 2013 with interest. I'm not going to read all of this, but there was an electric vehicle tax credit of $7,500. So people would get a tax credit for getting a Tesla. State and local subsidies, like in Nevada, a $1.3 billion tax break for building a Tesla gigafactory. In New York, a $750 million investment for a Solar City factory in Buffalo. More money just being sent to him for SpaceX, billions of dollars for SpaceX. R&D grants. Musk companies have benefited from federal R&D grants for electric vehicles, space exploration, and renewable energy technology. While Musk often presents himself as an independent entrepreneur, his businesses have leveraged significant government support similar to other major U.S. corporations in the tech, automotive, and aerospace industries. And that is why I am fired up, because they are out here slashing money for research. They're slashing money for people to be at work. They're slashing money for old people. They're slashing money for disabled people. They're slashing money for impoverished families. But his companies get millions of dollars a day. But somebody with a $65,000 a year job is being slashed because Doge and Musk and Trump have decided that they are inefficient and waste. People should be more fired up about this. I know that I am. Y'all, please share this. Please go ahead and comment. Let me know what you think. The leopards are still feasting. Red states that went mostly for Donald Trump are some of the poorest states with the poorest educational outcomes, with the highest amounts of unhealthy people. But they voted for Donald Trump. And now Republicans are out here slashing federal funds for those people, like Elon Musk. What do you call them? Parasites. These people that voted for them, and these people are the parasites that the Republicans are snatching money from. All right, so this was posted from the Lincoln Project. Heavily red areas will be hit the hardest because they are welfare states. Red states tend to be welfare states. So they're going to be hit the hardest with these federal funds that get slashed. And many of their jobs that are created in those states are created with federal funds. All right, so it says breaking. House Republicans have released their budget resolution. They are aiming to cut Medicaid by $880 billion and cut SNAP by at least 20%. That is going to hit some MAGAs really hard. It's going to hit the country hard, no doubt about that. But it's going to hit these people that voted for these leopards. Let's read this letter together from Huntsville Utilities. It says, "Dear customer, this letter informs you that your above referenced utility account has been debited for $100. Community Action Agency of Huntsville, Madison, and Limestone counties has notified us that the grant you received for $100 on January 23, 2025 is no longer valid due to President Trump's executive order to rescind funding behind the grant. The grant you received for $100 has been debited to your account and will be due with your next invoice. We sincerely apologize for any inconvenience this may cause. If you need to make payment arrangements or have questions, don't hesitate to get in touch with our office." So they are snatching money away from people who needed money for heat. But this is Alabama. Alabama overwhelmingly votes red. Why these poor people keep on voting red is beyond my comprehension. Now let's look at this New York Times article. Republicans, MAGA Republicans, these GOPers, they're like, yeah, let's cut all the funds. Let's be more efficient and all that. But just not me. Don't hurt my people. Hurt those people over there, not my people. This article, Republicans love Trump's spending cuts, just not in their states. Even as they praise the president's unilateral actions to slash federal spending, GOP lawmakers have quietly moved to seek carve-outs or exemptions for their own constituents. This is a good article because it touches on many different states. So I'm going to do the whole article. It matches the whole thing. Republicans in Congress have responded to President Trump's unilateral move to freeze federal spending, dismantle programs, and fire civil servants with a collective shrug, staying mostly silent and even praising him as he circumvents the legislative branch. But in recent days, as his slash and burn campaign to remake the government has begun to affect their states and districts, some Republicans have tried to push back in subtle ways. They have sought carve-outs and special consideration for agricultural programs, scientific research, and more, even as they cheered on Mr. Trump's overall approach. Their swift and quiet moves to protect their own pieces of the federal spending pie without critiquing Mr. Trump are an early indication of the political realities that could pose obstacles to the president's push. Many programs he has targeted for cost-cutting have entrenched constituencies in Congress built up by Republicans over many years. It is one reason that shrinking the size of federal government will be a mammoth task, despite the GOP's posture of maximum deference to Mr. Trump. Take Senator Katie Britt of Alabama, the successor to Senator Richard C. Shelby, who retired in 2022 at the age of 88, as one of the last big-time pork barrel legends in Congress. Mr. Shelby, Ms. Britt's former boss, was renowned for his record of steering billions of dollars in federal spending to his state over a 36-year career. Ms. Britt was one of the first Republicans to raise concerns at home soon after the Trump administration directed the National Institutes of Health to slash $4 billion in overhead costs for medical research grantees, a move that has since been paused by a federal judge. Ms. Britt, whose state has received more than $518 million in NIH grants for projects currently active there, told a local news outlet that she would press administration officials to take a smart, targeted approach to cuts so as to not hinder life-saving, groundbreaking research at the high-achieving institutions, such as the University of Alabama at Birmingham. It's really strange how their institutions, their states and cities require consideration. In the House, a group of Republicans from farm states and districts introduced legislation this week that aims to salvage a foreign aid program targeted for extinction by Mr. Trump as part of his effort to wipe out the U.S. Agency for International Development. The bill would transfer oversight to the Food for Peace program, which purchases crops at market price from American farmers and distributes them to hungry people abroad, from U.S. aid to the Agricultural Department. The lawmakers argued that their legislation fulfills the spirit of what Mr. Trump calls his mandate to slim down the federal bureaucracy and make it more efficient. So still, let's do it. Let's just do it over there, because that makes it efficient to move it from here to there. That makes it more efficient. By moving Food for Peace to USDA, the program can continue to equip American producers to serve hungry people while providing more transparency and efficiency as to how taxpayer dollars are stewarded. Representative Tracy Mann, Republican of Kansas, and the lead sponsor of the House bill, said in a statement on Tuesday. Jerry Moran, also of Kansas, was among the only Republicans who publicly urged Secretary of State Marco Rubio to quickly resume foreign food aid shipments abroad so American growers, including sorghum farmers in his state, would not lose out on a major market for their surplus product. American growers sold about $713 million worth of goods to Food for Peace program in the 2023 fiscal year. $713 million, that's going to be lost. And in a letter last week to the acting director of the Office of Management and Budget by Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, the chairwoman of the Indian Affairs Committee, she asked the Trump administration to direct federal agencies not to apply any funding restrictions from Mr. Trump's executive order targeting diversity programs to American Indian tribes. Not all Republicans are pushing back on Mr. Trump's efforts to slash federal spending, even when those cuts hit programs in their states. Senator Bernie Moreno of Ohio, whose state has received more than $1 billion in NIH research grants, said he supported the move to cut overhead costs, arguing that taxpayer money should not be used to cover expenses like lighting, heating, and building maintenance. If you ask the average American, we're spending $1 billion to cure childhood cancer. How much of $1 billion should go towards curing childhood cancer? They probably say $1 billion. Mr. Moreno said the idea that 60% goes towards indirect cost overhead is insane. The NIH said that less than half of that, about 26% of grant dollars distributed last year, went to such costs. The GOP lawmakers seeking reprieves from Mr. Trump's cuts are quick to embrace his message that federal spending is out of control, while arguing that their states or districts' slice of government funding is critical. Ms. Britt said in an interview that she had recently talked to Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Mr. Trump's nominee, and he's now been sworn in, health secretary, to impress upon him the importance of protective vital medical research taking place in Alabama that she said ultimately saves lives. He said he absolutely understood that we need to keep both research and innovation alive and well, and you know that you have to have the best technology and laboratory facilities to be able to do that, Ms. Britt said, speaking of Mr. Kennedy. He committed to continuing that conversation and working to make sure that we find a real solution moving forward. Senator Ted Budd of North Carolina, whose state includes two of the largest recipients of NIH grants in Duke University and the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, said he agreed with the Trump administration's moves to limit the amount of taxpayer money used for overhead costs. But he conceded that the universities would likely need time to adjust to their new financial reality. There's great research being done by all of our institutions. We need to protect that, Mr. Budd said. I think the White House wants to protect that. Still, Democrats are working to capitalize on the potential political impact of Mr. Trump's spending cuts by attacking Republicans in Congress, especially those from competitive districts, for swallowing moves that harm their constituents. House Majority PAC, the House Democrats maintained a political action group, sent out a message this week titled, Vulnerable House Republicans Hang Farmers Out to Dry, which noted how the funding freeze was hitting farmers around the country and singled out several Republican lawmakers by name, including Representatives David Valadao of California, Zach Nunn of Iowa, and Don Bacon of Nebraska. That was a long article. It was fairly long. And like I said in the beginning, it touches bases on many different states and many different people that are trying to toe the line of kissing Donald Trump's ring and looking out for their state. It's going to be challenging to continue to keep up that act, because this money, when they start stripping it, means stripping people's livelihoods and taking food out of people's mouth. Anyways, these people voted for this. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.
So Elon Musk's son, Twitter Jr., whatever the fuck his name is, was at the White House today. And while Trump was speaking, this little children of the Bitcoin turned to him and said, I want you to shush your mouth. Probably thinking, well, damn, I bet Trump was pissed, but wait, it gets worse. Because after this kid got done digging for gold or cryptocurrency or whatever the fuck they're using now, he looked at Trump again and said, you're not the real president. And here's the thing I absolutely love about this. I teach 3-year-olds, right? Done it for years, and I can guarantee you one thing. Preschool kids, they do not have an original thought. They're repeating absolutely everything that they're hearing at home, okay? Their parents say it, they're repeating it, which obviously means Elon Musk has made this the narrative in his home. Every single parent who's raised a child knows that you have to watch what you say around a preschooler, because they can't keep a motherfucking secret. I was thinking, oh my God, the girls are gonna fight. Trump is gonna be so pissed at Elon because he's gonna know that Elon said that. But then I thought, oh my God, wait, I don't think that Trump is gonna know that Elon said that, because the key phrase is parents who've raised their children. Baby, that was not Trump, okay? They're gonna blame what he said on DEI. He heard it from DEI in the liberal media.